Hey everyone, it's me, Monica. I welcome back. This is a video I just wanted to do just because I'm currently a senior in nursing school, and I wanted to, when you're starting nursing school, you kind of don't know what to expect and everything, and I just wanted to give out my advice and stuff that I wish I would have known before starting nursing school. So let's get into it. And by the way, I'm wearing my scrub top because I do have work that I have to leave for in like an hour, so I thought I would just get dressed, and plus I love this pink. It's beautiful. Okay, so let's get started. So something that I wish I knew is that everyone talks about how overwhelming it is. You have all these, new stuff you're studying that's different from high school. It's really, there's a lot of new material. It's hard, it's competitive, there's a different grading system, so you're just kind of overwhelmed. The thing I want to let you know is that you will get used to it. It's going to be tough. You're going to have to adjust to it, but you will get used to like the work amount and how to study and what works for you and everything, and you will get used to it. It takes a while, but I remember my first semester I started like pathophysiology, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is different and everything, but I mean, you do get used to it. And plus two, it's something that you want to study, so therefore, like, it's more interesting. It's what you want, it's what you're going to school for, so it's like fun, and you have clinicals, and it's, you learn new stuff, and you remember stuff from like your lecture class, and yeah, like you really do get used to it. So people say it's horrible, but you get used to it. You'll be fine. And don't believe all the blah 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 about how like, oh my gosh, it's the hardest thing ever. It is difficult, but I mean, if you want it and you're excited, genuinely excited about nursing, it won't feel like a chore all the time. You'll still have cool times in class where you'll really be interested in a certain subject, like maybe like the cardio unit or like pediatrics class. Like, you'll have time when you really are interested in the subject, so it makes it definitely a lot easier. Another thing I would recommend is getting advice from upperclassmen, especially about like professors, advice about like buying the book or not, what clinical locations are good for certain classes. I think is really, really good advice, because sometimes going into a class you don't know how like the professors test and everything, or if you have an option between clinical sites, like which one would be better for, like mental health versus pediatrics. So if you can, I'd really recommend like, kind of connecting with an upperclassman and seeing how like their experience in the class was with the professor, with clinicals, with everything. It can be really helpful, especially when first starting out and you kind of don't know, or like what supplies are the best to buy and what. So that's what it's really helped me, honestly. Like, I've had people who are a semester ahead of me, and just kind of knowing like what clinical location even they'd recommend. I was like, oh, I'm between these two, which one should I pick? And they kind of give me their advice. So I think that can really help you kind of schedule your schedule for the next few years, and just kind of getting someone who's been there, their advice for what they recommend, I think is really helpful. It can really make it a lot less scary if you kind of are going to unknown territory. So yeah, the next thing I'd really recommend, like what I wish I knew, is that like you have to find things that keep you motivated in nursing school, because there are gonna be times when you like don't do as awesome as you want on a test, or you're just feeling burnt out. The semester's been really long, and you just feel like, ugh, you're losing that lack of motivation, and that you gotta keep that, because that's when you can start to slack off, not do as well, and that stuff really matters. So you have to find something to keep you motivated. What always keeps me motivated is like me before I started nursing school. Like, that was the hardest I've ever worked in anything in my life. Like, I wanted to get into nursing school so badly because I wanted to become a nurse. So I keep I remember that when I'm kind of feeling done with studying, I have to remember like, hey, you really wanted this, look how hard you've worked, look how far you've come, like you're doing this all on your own. Like, you have to find something that keeps you motivated, whether it be like your dream of like becoming an ER nurse or pediatrics, or something to keep you motivated for when those times of, or maybe it's like to kind of, I don't know, do it for yourself. You have to find something to keep you motivated to get you through those hard times, and where it's just like, why am I doing this to myself? Like, you are doing this to yourself for a reason, because you want to become a nurse, and so you have to find something. And so that's what I'd recommend before going to nursing school, is finding what your drive is, because that's really important. Because people you will find that are just doing nursing school, like, for the job security or the money or whatever, like, they start to slack off, and because they don't like care as much. And so you have to find something to keep motivated. And I hope it's not like money or job security. I mean, those are nice, but you shouldn't be doing nursing just for those. That's a whole different topic. Another thing I'd really recommend before going to nursing school is how important professors are. Like, to get them on your side and to like talk with them and everything, go to their office hours. Professor relationships are so important. These are the people that are in charge of your grades. They're the ones in the classroom, like, helping you and starting the lectures and everything. So if you don't talk to them at all, if you just are rude to them, like, I don't know why you're there. Like, it's really important to establish that good, like, professor-student relationship, especially with grades, like with questions on tests to look over your exams. Like, these are people that can really, help make or break, kind of like if you're on the edge of a grade or something, like, they can help really make or break that. That's not like a threat or anything. Like, it's just like they have some leeway. So, if you go into their office hours and ask questions, you email them, or, after every exam, you go back and, kind of ask, what did I do wrong? Can I look over my test? Like, that shows them that you're really dedicated to this, and that most importantly, you really care about your learning and everything. And that shows them a lot. I can't tell you how many people have told me, like, they've never gone to see the professor, and I've never asked questions, and, like, I'm always the one, like, I always go in after every exam to see what I did wrong, solely because I want to, like, improve myself. Like, I want to, like, learn from my mistakes, and so I can, I understand why this is wrong. I'm going to do this better next time. And so going to the professor really shows them that you really care, and that you took the time and effort to go there. And so that really shows a lot to professors. And also, like, great recommendation letters, if you want to apply to internships. So professor relationships are really important. So I'd really recommend, utilizing that resource in nursing school. Another thing I wish I knew is how much, like, you're going to have, like, that bond and, like, be able to relate with your other, like, nursing school students. Like, you guys are all in it together. It's not like high school where everyone's kind of just, either on a team or doing this or that. Like, in nursing school, you are all on the same team. Like, you are all there to get a nursing degree and graduate and do the best that you can. Most people. But you're gonna be able to, like, relate to so much people. Like, I can't even tell you, like, you feel so much relief after someone's like, I haven't started this care plan either, and you're like, thank God. You just have, like, a bond. Everyone, everyone's on the same page. Like, everyone gets each other for the most part. Like, this test sucked, or it's like, you're not alone. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, you have people around you who can relate, and like, if your parents or, like, some other friends, like, don't understand, like, your workload, like, your nursing school buddies will. And so, like, that's really fun, and that makes, like, nursing school a lot better, having those people around you. It definitely helps. So definitely utilize that too, especially, like, if you need help, like, studying, you have a question, just to get together and chat. Like, it definitely makes nursing school easier. Another thing I wish I knew is how important tutors are. If you are lucky enough to go to a university or college with like, free tutoring, I highly recommend it. My school, I'm lucky enough to have tutoring that comes with your tuition. So I have used a tutoring for every single nursing class, and most people around me do. But therefore, if you're not lucky enough to have that, I understand, that's a big cost, cost that you have to go to, and I totally understand, if that's, too big of an amount of money for you, and I totally understand. But if you are lucky enough to have tutoring on your campus, I would highly recommend it. You know, these are students that did really well in the class, so they know what they're talking about. They kind of know like the little tricks and tips, like on tests and stuff, and you know, it's really, really helpful to like kind of, even just if you know, are doing really well in the class. Like I still had a tutor and I did, you know, really, you know, pretty well in all my other classes, but having that, at least like there's one day a week or whatever where you go over that material with someone else, and they can kind of, you know, pick out the really important parts and kind of help you understand like concepts that you don't really understand, you know, or go over, or even just test your knowledge, you know, like it's really extremely helpful to have tutoring if you were lucky enough. So if your school does have that, or maybe if you're like looking at colleges, ask about it when you're on tour. You know, like, do you offer tutoring, and how much money is it? That's good things to keep in mind when looking for a nursing school, a college. Another thing I wish I knew is like the importance of knowing whether to buy or rent textbooks. So I have basically rented all of my textbooks except for a couple. Just because I didn't know if I'd use it afterwards, you know, like they can say, oh, this pharmacology book is so important and you should buy this because you're gonna need it, and I didn't buy it and I have not needed to use it once. But also too, the nice thing is about like renting on Amazon is that you can like buy the book afterwards for a reduced price after you rent it. So that's always an option. So I've always done that, and I've saved so much money from that. Oh my gosh, like it's not that much to rent, at least like the textbooks that I get. It's usually like less than $50 to rent a textbook sometimes, so I'm really lucky in that way. But the thing that I would recommend is buying a drug guide. So when you'll need it for like your pharmacology class, I would recommend buying that drug guide, because you're going to use it for like your care plans, you know, like when you go into clinical, and it's really helpful to have like a drug guide just to be able to look up stuff, because you know sometimes the internet doesn't have everything that you need to go on for your care plan stuff. So that's one of the books I would recommend getting. And also too, we use our nursing diagnosis book a lot. I don't know if a lot of programs use it. I would assume so for like care plans, but that's another good book to buy, because I know people who didn't buy those two books and they're like, oh my gosh, can I borrow yours and all that. And so it's just better to buy your own, because you're going to use it throughout your nursing school career. So yeah. Another thing, this is just honestly from like talking to other people. So you'll start buying like your stethoscopes before your first clinical and stuff. And people that I knew that bought, like there's like a 2-tube stethoscope. I don't have mine with me. But there's a stethoscope that has like 2 tubes on it. It's a less expensive one, which is why they got it. But everyone that I've talked to like doesn't really like it. Maybe you do, and that's totally fine. You know, but what I've heard is like the 2 tubes like rub together when you're listening and can kind of mess up the sound. Like with listening to like lung sounds and heart sounds. So that's people I talked to, they didn't really like it. So if you can or are able to afford, I would buy like a little better stethoscope. It doesn't have to be like a Littman, you know. I really like that one, but I mean also I know people have like, I think MDF is what it's called, but just try not to buy one with a 2-tubed one if you can help it, just because they do rub on each other. That's what I've heard. So yeah, my last piece of advice before, what I wish I knew before starting nursing school, was the need, and this is really important, to have still a social life. I'm sure you've heard like, oh my gosh, you can't have a social life in nursing school, like you can't do anything, you're gonna lose all your friends. Like that's absolutely not true. I mean, it might not be the social life that you're expecting from like college, portrayed on TV shows or movies. Like that's not realistic for nursing school, but you still need to have a social life, you know, like and there'll be times when you'd be like, hey, I can't go out tonight, I have a big test tomorrow. Totally fine. But like if you don't like even go out to coffee with your friends or even have a study, you know, group, and then like chat a little after or something, or just do some time for yourself where you get to hang out with people. That's not healthy, you know. Like, you need to be able to have that balance, and it's tricky and it will take some time, you know, especially adjusting to a new curriculum, a new school or something. That does take time. So, but it's still really important to have one, you know. It's just allowing yourself to have that time when you know you can, you know. If you just read, you know, 2 hours from your textbook, you know, treat yourself to like chat on the phone with like your cousin or something, or go out, you know, like if you had a big test, go out with your friends and celebrate. Like, make sure to still have that stuff, because you're gonna get burnt out really quickly if you only are school. Like, you need to still have that time, and it might not be as much time as you'd like, but, you know, still making time for that is really important, for your mental health, and for, you know, like, being able to have a social life, you know. That's really important. Like, this is still college, and you're gonna go out of college and then be like, oh my gosh, I didn't do anything but school, I didn't talk to anyone, you know. That's sad. So you want to be able to, you know when you, and treat yourself to that time when you know you've worked really hard. Now, if you like don't read, don't study at all, and like, oh, I deserve myself, you know, to treat myself, I'm gonna go out tonight, like, that's not the best decision. But if you've, you know, worked and you know, studied and did all your assignments, you know, like, go treat yourself, you know, for a little bit. It doesn't have to be like an all-nighter or whatever, but, you know, do something fun. And that kind of goes along with like the self-care that you need to kind of have in place before, or adjust, you know, during nursing school, because, you know, it's gonna be hard with all the assignments and all the studying. You're gonna go, but you need to have that time too to like take care of yourself. So like getting enough sleep. I know like a lot of people talk like, oh, I don't have time to sleep, I'm only gonna get like 5 hours tonight. Like, like, that just, like, you do what you need to do, but like not long term. Like, if it's one night, yeah, but I mean, even before a test, like, you know, it's been proven, you know, like, all-nighters don't help when it comes to exam. Like, sleep is the best thing. So just make sure, like, find things that, like, to treat yourself, you know. Again, if you've, you know, did a big assignment or finished your care plan, like, go take like 15 minutes and watch like your favorite YouTuber, or, you know, take a bubble bath, or, you know, just take that time to find, you know, to take care of yourself, or watch an episode of Netflix after a lot of, you know, after a big test. It's important to like treat yourself, because, you know, it's hard, and you need to find ways that to take care of yourself, because, you know, you deserve it, and you need to stay healthy. You know, go to the gym and, you know, kind of burn off some steam and all that. So it's really important to take care of yourself as a nurse. A lot of professors stress this, even as a new nurse too. It's important to do self-care. So I hope this helped. This is kind of the little tidbits I have of what I wish I would have known before nursing school. I can't believe that it's my senior year. It was like so long ago when I first started, but I hope this helps you. If you have any other pieces of advice, please leave them down. I would love to hear. I hope you all have a great day. Bye!